Alright everybody, it has arrived. The Mode My Mini by Game Console. So these are the same people that made the R36 gaming handheld. And so now we're going to do an unboxing and we're going to see what this thing's all about. So come check it out with me. So we have here our box, and on the back of the box it shows us the specs. This device is rocking a chip that is very well known in the handheld gaming community because it came out in some of the earlier Anbernic and Powkitty devices. This is the RK3326. And so because of the fact that we have this chipset, we know what the actual capabilities are as far as gaming on this device. And the cool thing is regardless of whether you had something like a Miyoo Mini Plus, or if you have an Anbernic RG35XX, or if you have the original R36, all of those devices pretty much run about the same games, even though one chip is slightly more powerful than the other. So I do love the fact that this device actually comes with a case, because a lot of these handheld companies are actually charging extra for the case. So that's pretty awesome. And so let's open it up and take a look at the device. And oh, she's in there the wrong way. Okay, oh, I opened the case the wrong way. All right, let's play it upside down. Just kidding. Oh, wow. Okay, so in the hands, this thing feels a lot, and I do mean a lot, like a Miyoo Mini Plus. Okay, if you ever played a Miyoo Mini Plus, then you are going to immediately feel the same kind of heft on this device. And wow. Okay. Oh, and we have the battery that's actually able to be opened back here without any screws. So that's also something it seems to have in common with the Miyoo Mini. Oh, we got some little LEDs going on here. So that's pretty cool. Looks like we're running Emulate. So that's also pretty cool. This is a familiar OS to a lot of people. I personally, I know a lot of people are going to probably rag me for this, okay? But I don't like having to go in and set up custom firmwares all the time. I can do it. I set up Onion OS way back on my Miyoo, and I did set up Garlic at one point on my Anbernic, and I can set up front ends and different things like that. Although, if I'm being perfectly honest, these days I seem a lot more content to just want to play the games. And so, surprise, surprise here, I did actually, when I first fired up this handheld, because I just wanted to show you guys an unboxing, but I have already opened this up. And so one thing I noticed right away is this handheld actually comes with no Nintendo stuff on it whatsoever. And so you actually do have to go in and you have to add your own ROMs. And so I'm going to change the color of these LEDs real quick to something a little more that matches the device. All right, let's see what we got now. All right, that's much better. I can deal with that. So I'm definitely digging the white and black with the just transparent. One thing they could have did differently, though, that would have made this handheld amazing would have been if they would have taken off this little light down here, this little indicator light. But anybody who's ever opened one of these devices up before knows that you can go in there and you can basically just kind of unplug that light. Or, you can put tape over it or whatever. I mean, I would just unplug it. And so now, this handheld's controls, when I tested it out, one of the first things that I did was I tested it out on a fighting game. And so I went into CPS 2 and I tested it out on Street Fighter. And when I went to test it out on Street Fighter, I was actually just the slightest bit disappointed because, let me turn the volume down on it here. Okay, by the way, the speaker quality on this thing is not very good. That's one thing where I will definitely give it a knock, is that the speaker quality is just kind of meh. Oops, I accidentally hit the reset button. I was supposed to be hitting the volume button. So, just goes to show. I'm an amateur, guys. I'm a newbie. Sorry. But, yeah, when I went to play Street Fighter on it, okay, I was able to pull off Hurricane Kicks, and I was able to pull off my fireballs pretty easily. But Dragon Punches was a little bit different. That was a slightly harder ordeal to grasp. And so, hold on. This time, let me turn down the actual volume button so that we can do this the right way. And I don't want to horrify you guys with the speaker. Because like I said, it's not a very good speaker. I'm just being honest with you guys. Okay, everybody's looking for the next budget beast. And right now, with RAM prices going through the roof, nobody wants to have to, deal with jank. And, with this device, the good thing about it is this device does have a headphone jack on the bottom of it. And there's your DC charging port right there. Okay, you've got your SD card that comes with it. It's a 64 gig that came with mine. And it's basically their own branding that they did. And you have a second SD card slot right here. So that's actually really, really nice. Glad that they included that because, it's always the Miyoo Mini. When we got it, it was it only had one SD card slot, so that was kind of meh. And so I'm glad that they included a secondary SD card slot on this one. Me personally, one thing that I thought was good was that when I went to add my ROMs to it, I didn't have to worry about it not playing the ROMs. Like it actually picked up the systems that weren't there. So even though on the front of this it says on the box it actually says that you only have 10 sims on here, which is 10 emulators, it's got more than that. And in case you're wondering why I'm sucking so bad fighting Ken right now, is because of the fact that I'm actually trying to play this through my camera. So there's a little bit of delay and Ken just kind of smoked me there a little bit, but whatever. I'm just going to move on to something else because I'm embarrassed now. So, because we know that the RK336 chip has been, 3326 chip has been around for a while. We know that this is only going to get like a handful of Dreamcast and N64 games to actually play well on it. I did go in there last night because it's like, yeah, we got PSP on here, and yeah, man. So they included a whole bunch of PSP mini games, and so I thought that was kind of cool. I ended up deleting a whole bunch of them, though, so that I can make room on the stock SD card. I didn't feel like going out and buying another SD card because I'm actually kind of tapped out, you guys. I bought 3 different handhelds for the purposes of this channel, so please love me. Under the PSP, they included Chains of Olympus, which they seem to want to do with all these lower-end chipsets, like they did with the A133 chipset on the Trim UI Smart Pro. And even on that device, which is, a more powerful chip, that one still doesn't play it all that well. I know that the Trim UI Smart Pro S is a little bit more capable when it comes to playing God of War Chains of Olympus. But, to me, if you're going to play the higher-end PSP games, then you might as well at least get something with the T618 chip in it. You can go all the way back to the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, or you can get the new Mangmi Air X, which also does an amazing job with PSP. You can get some of Anbernic's older T618 devices, like the RG505. So, another thing that I noticed about this device is the fact that the build quality on this is actually very nice. The face buttons on this, and I'm going to turn the screen off for this just so I don't launch into anything real quick but the face buttons on this are actually pretty nice. Like they're membrane style. Same thing with the D-pad, it's membrane style. I don't like the fact that, just like Pal Kitty did on their new clamshell handheld, the V90S, they made the start and select buttons so stinking clicky. Now, one thing that made the Miyoo Mini amazing, the original Miyoo Mini, the smaller one, was the fact that a lot of people that were playing it were able to play the Miyoo Mini with one hand, okay? Now, this device is, the size of a Miyoo Mini Plus, basically. But the thing is because of the fact that they included this joystick right here in the middle, those same people that were able to play games with one hand on the original Miyoo Mini can use this joystick if they're comfortable with doing so. And they can play RPG games one-handed using this joystick and just do this. And so, people like, I think Tech Dweeb was one of the people that used to play games one-handed, but I don't want to speak for him. He's a big boy now, and I'm just a little peon trying to grow my channel. And so, I absolutely do think that they did a great job with the pricing on this handheld, because this handheld only cost about $40 on Amazon, and it was shipped to me within a couple of days. Okay, when I got my original Miyoo Mini Plus, okay, it took a while for the Miyoo Mini Plus to get to me, people, because, I mean, it had to come from overseas and everything. But it seems to me like Amazon is basically finding all of the handheld companies and what they would charge for shipping, and they're stocking up on a lot of the handhelds, and then Amazon is just including their own price for shipping along with a few extra dollars, and that's how they're kind of rolling right now. And so, you know, I was really, really glad. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I was like, man, this is not AliExpress we're talking about here. This is this is Amazon. And so, you know, the fact that we can go on Amazon, order a handheld like this that can play up to PS1 basically almost perfectly, okay, tells you that, you know, we have reached a point in society where we are doing pretty darn good. Okay. I just uploaded, remember, I'm using the camera here, so I accidentally just loaded an NES version of Super Mario World. Yeah, that's real cute. But no, I'm not that good. But, you know, if you are looking for that best budget bang for your buck right now, and you are like, man, money is tight, but I would really like to get one of these retro handhelds. Everybody's talking about them, but, you know, I just don't have, you know, $100 to sink into this or $150 to sink into that. Then, you know what? For the price of, you know, you and your significant other eating at Burger King twice in a week, you can order this thing off of Amazon, and it comes loaded with ROMs. Now, if you want Nintendo ROMs, you're going to have to add them yourself. Sorry about that. But, you know, that's the game we play in this handheld community. You know, everybody, most of the people that are into this hobby at this particular point have reached a level where they are competent enough to load their own ROMs or find their own ROMs, source their own ROMs. You know, most of us either have them on a hard drive or on a thumb drive somewhere, okay? And we can just load them up into whatever handheld. And if you don't know where to find ROMs, I can say that there's this company that starts with a G and ends with Oogle, where if you just type in ROM sets, okay, you should be able to find a place for ROMs. And you may have to get a membership to whatever web page that may be. You know, if you do so, then, you know, you may be able to find those classics that you've been wanting to play for so long. Just don't be greedy. You know, we're needy, not greedy. We don't need every game under the sun. We just need the ones that we're actually going to play. And, you know, a lot of this stuff's considered abandonware at this point. Not everything, but a lot of it is. And so, you know, like I said before, if you were looking for that budget bang for your buck, then this may very well be the handheld for you. I actually have a couple of our other budget bangers, okay, right here with me right now. Okay, this is the Anbernic 35XX Plus, okay, which is about the same size as the original Anbernic 35XX, okay. And this is the TrimUI brick, which I also intend to do a review on sometime. And so, as you can see here, these are very similar in price. Although, I will say that the quality on the build quality on the TrimUI brick is a little better. The screen is slightly smaller, okay, but the resolution of the screen on the TrimUI brick is higher. And the controls are amazing on the TrimUI brick. But going back to what you're actually trying to play. If you're just trying to play some retro games and you want a device that's comfortable, okay, this device, if you've ever owned a Miyoo Mini and you thought to yourself, that is comfortable, I just wish that it had a joystick for some of those PlayStation games or, you know, some of those, well, I mean, because this one plays some PSP games, then, you know, you actually have a joystick that you can use for the PSP games that do run on this device. It's not going to play them all, nowhere near it. But for what it does play, you're going to have fun with this device. And so I would just urge you that, you know, if you haven't given this device a try yet, a lot of people don't even know this device exists, I don't think, because everybody's always looking for the newest and latest and greatest, and a lot of people are trying to move away from budget handhelds that are into this hobby. But me personally, I'm still into some of the budget handhelds, and to me, this one is definitely one that should be considered by many. Okay, this isn't like the X6 or the SF3000, you know, where it barely will play the games that are on it, okay? This thing is built good enough to actually play what it says it can play. And so, you know, don't sell this thing short, okay? The games that you want to steer clear of are obviously going to be a lot of the higher end, the N64, the PSP. But if you get PSP games and N64 games to run on this device, then be happy with it. You know, it's just one more thing that you have that you can be happy with. And not only that, but this device is extremely pocketable. It comes with a case. And for the kind of games you're going to be playing, you can get, you know, 3, 4, 5 hours of battery life out of it. Okay, if you want to do like a battery test rundown and stuff like that, this is probably not going to be the channel for you. I know Russ likes to do a lot of that stuff. And same thing with some of the other gaming channels like Tech Dweeb and all those guys. But me, I just want to have fun with my handhelds, you know. I want to have fun with them, and I want you guys to see what these things are capable of, and, you know, to maybe pick up something new that you haven't seen before. And so if you like this handheld and you like this review, then please consider liking, subscribing to the channel, sharing the video. And I'm going to be trying to make these videos better and better. But you guys have to remember, I'm recording out of you know, I work a lot. Let's just put it that way. And so thank you for watching this video, and I'll check you on the next one.